And now, The Rock Newman Show.
Folks, welcome back to The Rock Newman Show today, November the 23rd, Saturday, 2013. In this hour, we're going to be speaking from New York City with Sophia Stewart. She's been referred to as the mother of the Matrix, and we want to try to clear up what has been an internet controversy. Sophia Stewart filed a claim against the producers and the directors and the makers of the Matrix film back in 1999, saying that the film was based on a manuscript that she had submitted sometimes earlier. And the case went on for several years. There was an adjudication in 2004-5 time frame. And we want to get to the bottom of what that was. Let's make sure that we have her on the line. Sophia Stewart, welcome to the Rock Newman Show.
Yes, hi. How you doing? Glad to be here. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you again for joining us. There has been. Let's start here. You saw the movie in somewhere 1999. And you filed a claim against Warner Brothers, the Wachowski, if I'm saying that right, Wachowski brothers, maintaining that it came from a manuscript that you submitted to them sometimes earlier. When you saw the movie, what was it that made you, in your own mind, know that that was your story?
Well, I'd like to clear up some facts first because there was no case in 1999. The case was actually filed in 2003. And in 1999, March the 31st, when I saw the movie, and I called them, they offered me $5 to $7 million. So there was no dispute who wrote The Matrix and Terminator. They both, all of them, 8 of the defendants, knew that I wrote The Matrix and Terminator because I didn't take the money. I avoided the settlement and went to the FBI for some of them to be prosecuted. And the FBI conducted an investigation June the 10th, 1999. And so when I went to court in 2003, it was not to see who wrote The Matrix and Terminator. It was for damages that was owed to me because the U.S. Attorney's Office got bought out by them and did not file charges like they had promised to do after the investigations from the FBI.
Okay,
so those facts need to be cleared up.
Okay, so hold on, because I really, first of all, look, let me tell you something. I'll just give you a personal opinion here. I'm rooting for you. I love when David kicks Goliath's butt. So I'm rooting for you. So the first thing, but I want to clear up something. You said they offered you a sum of money. I did not hear what that sum was. What was it?
It was $5 to $7 million.
That they offered you in 1999?
That's correct.
Okay.
They gave me an in-house attorney to handle that arrangement.
Okay. Now, was that something that was verbally communicated to you, or was that ever put in writing?
It was written in the court, so it was put in writing in the court. In fact, the Terminator defendant, so Judge Morrow, who was the second judge on the case, said they had sold the Terminator from me 18-odd years ago, and they wanted her to shut the case down on a statute of limitations, and they used the James Bond case because they had taken the original writer of the Bond series because he had sat on his rights through the statute of limitations. And the judge told them to admit to a federal judge that you stole something with willful intent because the clock starts ticking for the statutes the moment the victim discovers the theft, not when you commit the act.
Okay,
then the Warner Brothers defendant told the judge that they had already paid me in the settlement. And I have this transcript to prove it.
Okay.
And they wanted her to gag me, and she said the settlement had got aborted. And so, therefore, she couldn't gag me.
Okay. So You said something in your explanation earlier that somebody bought off the U.S. prosecutor's office who was
That's right. Warner Brothers and the defendants bought off the U.S. Attorney's office. Greg Diamond and Elizabeth Ann Stevens. And Salt Lake City.
Do you have
Attorney's office?
What evidence, Ms. Stewart, do you have to back up that claim?
I have the FBI evidence because the Department of Justice and the task force is getting ready to move aggressively on these people. I've gotten letters and documentation, and there are documentations in the book, The Third Eye, from the FBI, validating it was a theft case. Everybody that's reading the book, read these documents, all the fans
Okay.
from around the world, globally.
Okay, so just to be clear, you are saying that you have been presented with evidence from the FBI that Warner Brothers or people associated with Warner Brothers paid off a justice official of the United States?
It wasn't a justice official, it was a judicial official. The U.S. Attorney's Office, yes. Yes, I do. The FBI has been involved in this case and the Department of Justice since, like I said, June the 10th, 1999.
Okay, Ms. Stewart, I want to tell you something. I would like to offer you the opportunity to come to Washington, D.C., and share some of that information, to sit with us and share some of that information. Those are explosive allegations. And if they...
Well, I can back them up, sweetie.
Okay.
How's that for you?
Well, I'm just saying.
How's that for you?
Look, that makes for great radio, great live streaming, and great television. If you can bring information here that'll back up those claims, I'm telling you that I will give you the platform to speak to the world. Our show is seen literally around the world. Anybody that has an internet, that has a computer or a cell phone, can see our show. So that you claim has happened, which is that as a result of, and I think this is one of your assertions, that Warner Brothers and Time Warner are so powerful of a media conglomerate that your story and the real facts have been hidden from the masses of the people.
Lots of people know that they own blocks and blocks of media. So do you. They might even own what you're on right now.
I can tell you what they don't. I can tell you what that I can tell you they don't. But let's move on.
Well, I'm not saying that they do. I said they maybe. I didn't say might. I didn't say that they actually did. We don't even know. I mean, I just said they may.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the FCC were in violations of giving the studios too much power with the media. We haven't had free press since Benjamin Franklin. I know you know that.
Okay.
The media shapes the people's minds, their thoughts, what they buy, and so forth.
I'll tell you, I, along with a lot of people, are fascinated by your case. Now, I read something last night that I think I have my time frame here. I think it was 2004, there was a case where you were not granted what you were asking for, and the defendants were given their court costs, which would have, I guess, come from you or your attorneys. Can you explain that?
Yes, I will explain it to people. For one thing, the media has never covered either one of my court cases, and I have two of them. And for one thing, Warner Brothers and the Wachowskis lost the case in 2004. And I have proof of that, too.
Wait a minute.
They never answered the amended complaint. And the damages for the court case, that court case was shut down to keep them from going to jail. I had filed a RICO case on them, and it was court ordered served on them by the first judge. Terry Hatter Jr., who they did judge tampering and they got him removed. How did they get him removed? They went out and hired his son and didn't even use the son on the case. They hired him so the judge has to step down. And I have documentations to prove that. Everything that I'm saying, I have documentations to prove it.
Okay.
And that $300,000, the judge shut the case down on summary judgment. I have the transcript where the second judge is fixing the case with Bruce Isaac. Bruce Isaac is the lawyer of the defendants. The judge told him that he could shut the case down on a summary judgment if my attorneys did not enter any evidence in, or if I didn't get to do a deposition.
Okay.
And she told him in front of my two attorneys, Dean Webb and Gary Brown, but she told him he couldn't come to today or tomorrow, that he had to make it look good and wait a few weeks. And if my lawyers didn't put in discovery, which is the evidence, she could shut the case down. But if they put in the movies, then she would have to give the case to me.
Okay.
And I have the transcript to prove that, too.
Okay.
And, yes, you can see that also.
Okay.
How about that?
I
and
love
you
it.
can see the fact that the Wachowskis and Warner Brothers lost. You can see that also.
Okay.
That my attorneys never put in the judicial notice for the default certificate. You got 30 days to answer a complaint. If you do not answer in 30 days, you lose by default. That means you didn't show up. They are the ones who didn't show up.
Okay. Now, when you say Warner Brothers and the Warner Brothers and the Wachowskis lost the case.
That's right. They lost the case.
So I want to try to understand the definition of them when you use it, having lost the case. So did they lose the case and therefore you are due damages?
That's right, from them. Because when you do not answer a submitted complaint, anybody can come back in later and put in those default certificates. I am a paralegal. I won that judgment over in Utah, the default judgment, which I've tallied up the damages to be $3 billion. I won that without an attorney because I studied law under the Brooklyn and Manhattan lawyers, some of the most brilliant lawyers. I have a degree in journalism, a double major in law and psychology. So I am a paralegal, and I have done cases, and I won the default judgment over there in Utah. And the second case, and Warner Brothers is liable for that $3 billion because it's a criminal case.
Did you? So you're saying you won a judgment of $3 billion?
That's what the damages I put in.
The
judge have entered half. Hold on a moment. The judge has entered half of the judgment already into the court. The judge is waiting for me to tally up the damages to enter the other half into the court.
Okay, so
they're waiting for the award.
So we're talking about you receiving potentially $3 billion, right?
That's right. That is totally correct. I have the documents to back that up.
Miss Stewart.
For anybody who wants to see it.
Miss Stewart, I don't just want you to come to appear on my program. I want to marry you.
I'm sure you do, and a whole lot of others. I've got tons of proposals on that line. I'm serious. I'm very serious.
Okay. Let me just say, first of all, I want to repeat that I really appreciate you coming on by phone here. I'm going to be in touch with you and have our people to be in touch with you, because what I'd like to do is to examine this and showcase this further with your assurance that you have these documents where you claim you have information about Warner Brothers or whoever it might have been buying off, people in the Justice Department, and that you have these claims that could total, $1 billion. That is a fascinating and a very interesting story. And you know as well as I do that in the media and on the internet and what have you, people call it now urban legend that you won. But just as many people are saying that you did not win. And if you have validation to demonstrate your victory, I want to be a part in showcasing and highlighting that.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. Not only did I win a judgment, lots of fans and people have the paperwork in their homes because they've been asking for it. And another thing I want to tell you, the Wachowskis and Warner Brothers never wrote The Matrix or never owned any copyrights to The Matrix, ever. They pulled the Houdini and a Milli Vanilli on all of you guys because the media did not cover both of my court cases.
Well, the Rock Newman...
And I have the documents, wait a minute, and I have the documents for your eyes to see who all was part of the theft that stole my work.
All right.
I got the contract, and a lot of fans are all newspapers and people have been getting it around the world because I've been sending it out.
Okay.
Because people want to see that too, just like you.
Mr. Stewart, we have to go to break. We will be back in touch with you, and I will make arrangements for you to come here and sit with me for as long as it takes to fully explore this. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, I would love to.
Okay.
You got to see these documents.
Okay.
And everybody can go to my website, matrixterminator.com.
Okay.
To get them.
Be well. Folks, we'll come back in the